What's up, people? It's another Monday night. It's another freezing Monday night. Good God, if you are in the New York area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The hawk is out and the hawk is angry. But nonetheless, I'm here. And I'm here. And I'm here by myself. My girl's on the way. She's on the way. I know y'all missed her. She was out for 2 weeks. She is back today. I just hung up the phone with her. She said that she's burning up the highway. I told her to chill, relax, be easy. We'll see you when you get here. So she will be joining us very soon, very shortly. And I know you all are excited about that because you're tired of seeing me by myself. But that's all right. I try to hose it down when I can hose it down. We have a good show planned for you guys. Tonight, our topic is commitment to entrepreneurship. And as you know, part of the vision of this show is and was to make sure that we give people an opportunity to say what it is that you do, to give people a platform. We found that we have so many people who we know who are doing extraordinary things, and all they need is a platform. And so we have two great guests for you who not only are going to share what they do with you, but also they're going to share their road to success. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't know if they would call it that, but I deem it a success because they're in the game. And that's part of the lesson that we have for you today, is that just getting in the game itself is a success story. So we're going to talk to you a bit about that later on in the show, but I hope that you all are ready to call in with your questions and your comments. This is a good show for any questions that you may have. You know the number. If not, the number is 914-969-MIXX. That's 914-969-6499. You can also hit us up at hiddentreasuresam@gmail.com. So if you watch our show, then you know what the next segment is. Our next segment is the What's Happening Now segment. And the topic for today is called low battery. What's that about? Anyway, we're going to go to the video, and when we return, you're going to get my perspective on it. Maybe Ayanna's if she's here. See you soon.
Did you know the average person spends 4 years of his life looking down at his cell phone? Kinda ironic, ain't it? How these touch screens can make us lose touch. But it's no wonder in a world filled with iMacs, iPads, and iPhones. So many eyes, so many selfies, not enough us's and we's. See, technology has made us more selfish and separate than ever. Cause while it claims to connect us, connection has gotten no better. And let me express first, Mr. Zuckerberg, not to be rude, but you should reclassify Facebook to what it is, an anti-social network. Cause while we may have big friend lists, so many of us are friendless, all alone. Cause friendships are more broken than the screens on our very phones. We sit at home on our computers, measuring self-worth by numbers of followers and likes. Ignoring those who actually love us, it seems we'd rather write an angry post and talk to someone who might actually hug us. Am I bugging? You tell me, cause I asked a friend the other day, let's meet up face to face. They said, alright, what time you wanna Skype? I responded with OMG, SRS, and then a bunch of SMHs, and realized, what about me? Do I not have the patience to have conversation without abbreviation? This is the generation of media overstimulation. Chats have been reduced to snaps. The news is 140 characters. Videos are 6 seconds at high speed. And you wonder why ADD is on the rise faster than 4G LTE. But get a load of this. Studies show the attention span of the average adult today is 1 second lower than that of a goldfish. So if you're one of the few people or aquatic animals that have yet to click off or close this video, congratulations. Let me finish by saying you do have a choice, yes. But this one, my friends, we cannot autocorrect. We must do it ourselves. Take control or be controlled, make a decision. Me? No longer do I want to spoil a precious moment by recording it with a phone. I'm just gonna keep them. I don't want to take a picture of all my meals anymore. I'm just gonna eat them. I don't want the new app, the new software, or the new update. And if I want to post an old photo, who says I have to wait until Thursday? I'm so tired of performing in the pageantry of vanity and conforming to this accepted form of digital insanity. Call me crazy, but I imagine a world where we smile when we have low batteries. Cause that'll mean we'll be one bar closer to humanity.
So let me start off by saying guilty as charged. The little low battery signal went off just now in the studio, and I went looking at my phone to check if it was my phone, because that's kind of the way I've been conditioned at this point in time. And so I am guilty before I say any single word about the video itself. Certainly there were a lot of things that I agreed with within that video. I believe that even in this social media age, we have certainly become less social, and there are people. This is what I really find interesting. I wish Ayanna was here so I can bounce this off her. But what I find interesting is I have had people who I was friends with on Facebook, and I saw them in person, and they had nothing to say to me. It was like they didn't know me at all. But we were friends on Facebook, and you liked all my posts. But then when I saw you, we had nothing to say to one another. And so I think that there is some validity to this whole idea that the computer screen creates relationships that really don't exist in the real world. And so I think that there is a challenge that's there. However, and I don't think Ayanna actually picked this video. I don't think this is the direction that she was going to come from, but this is my perspective. I don't want to throw away the baby with the bathwater. What do I mean by that? I think there are great things about social media. I think that there are, we have been able to reach people faster. We have been able to get messages out quicker than ever before, and I believe that there are great benefits to that. I think that it is not the product itself that's the problem. It's the user of the product that's the problem. And so, I think that anything that has some worth can be altered, can be messed with, can be misused, can be abused. It doesn't mean that it in itself is bad. It just means that we have to find the proper use, the proper place for these things, and not allow them to usurp our time, to take place of actual human interaction. But in its rightful place, these things are awesome. These things are great. And so, I'm going to put my wife on blast for a second. My wife despises social media. She's like a social media hater. Like, she goes completely off when it comes down to Facebook, Twitter, or any of those things. She is disgusted by those things. And so the argument that I have with her often is that there is nothing wrong with these things. It's the people that use them that are the problem. And so if we have a disdain for these things, then let's figure out more proper ways to use them as opposed to just discrediting them altogether. And so that's my perspective as it relates to the video. I thought that he made some very impactful, very powerful points. And I think that if these cell phones and devices are tied to us to a place where we feel like we cannot live or breathe without them, then yes, we do have a problem. Yes, I admit it. I have a problem. However, I think in their proper place, they have been more than useful. And so as you continue to challenge yourself to look at, what areas you need improvement in, maybe that's an area that you need to look at. However, look at it. Don't throw it all away, because I think that we've made some great strides with it. People have used it for political ventures. People have used it to spread the gospel. In fact, social media is one of the reasons why I'm sitting here right now. If it wasn't for social media, you guys wouldn't even be able to hear me right now. So I think that we've made some great strides and done some great things with this. But we have some ways to go. So that's my perspective. You all don't have to agree with me. Y'all know that. Hit us up, hiddentreasuresam@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Also, you can hit us up on that telephone number, 914-969-6499. Let us know your perspective, but that's what I'm saying on this night. All right? So anyway, that's what's happening now, but what's happening in the community is where we're going to next. And you all know that we try to bring you all of the latest and greatest things that are happening so that you cannot say that you have nothing to do. So we're going to go to our first event at this time. There is a holiday. Actually, I'll go to the one that's on your screen first, but then we'll come back to the second one. The Dance Ministry Institute presents Nativity, Birth of a King. That is coming up on Saturday, December 20th at 4 o'clock p.m. And there's another showing at 8 o'clock p.m. The last show will be on Sunday, December 21st, 2014 at 4 o'clock p.m. I believe that this 4 o'clock show on the 20th is already sold out. I've told you I've gone to this show for years, and every single year it gets better, and I just happen to be in it this year. So I hope that some of you will come out and support. The tickets are $40 and $55. It is going to be at the Gerald W. Lynch Theater at John Jay College. You can go to their website, www.thedmiexperience.com. For groups of 10 or more, you can call the number 845-508-8502. I hope that you all are able to attend. We have had Elder Robert Evans on the show, who is the founder of DMI, and you all know that he is great. The production is great. So I hope that you all will support this endeavor as you have done so many times before. So now we're going to go to the second flyer, which is a holiday pop-up show. That is fashionablefits.com, and Friends presents a holiday pop-up show. It's a unisex shopping event. Unisex, that's male and female. 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's this Saturday. If you have nothing to do, if you have something to do, clear your schedules. Support. It's hosted by Ray Holiday. It is going to be in Brooklyn Commons, 388 Atlantic Avenue, downtown Brooklyn, New York City. We ask that you would attend this. There's some great things in store, and what's even better is that one of our featured guests for today is going to be a part of this event, and so she will have the opportunity to speak more about that later on. We'll probably be bringing the flyer up again so that she can strengthen that announcement, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that was happening in our community, and that's what's happening now. As always, if you have any events that you deem that you believe is in line with the vision of this show, you can send us that flyer as a JPEG to hiddentreasuresam@gmail.com. So that's what's happening in the community. At this time, we're going to go to our music video of the week. So here's the thing about the music video. So it is now the Christmas season, so to speak. And I'm not your real your Christmas song kind of guy. That's just not who I am. So I wanted to reflect, however, on this season. I know it's important to y'all, so I wanted to give something to y'all. So it's kind of a hybrid between your traditional Christmas song and just some good music. So we're going to go to Fred Hammond at this time, and he is singing, the song is called He Is Not Just a Man. And I want you to listen to the lyrics and let it minister to you, and then we will be back with our guests right after this video.
Greatest gift to man from the Father would change us all in ways we've never seen. Yet his first moments were in a manger. Then soon every living thing would call him king. Though we didn't know it then, we soon would understand that his life would be the greatest gift to man. Oh, 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 oh. He is not just a man. He is not just a baby. Oh no, he but the Lion of Judah, Savior and ruler of all. We tried our very best to perceive him. Sometimes I think it was beyond our reach. That's why he only asked us just if we'd receive him. With a childlike heart only believe. And I hear him ask again, who do men say that I am? And I feel the need to let the whole world see that he's not just a man, no. He is not just a baby, but the Lion of Judah, say yeah. He is not just a man, no, no, no. His name is Jesus, and he's not just a baby. Somebody say it. It's not just the Lamb, but the Lion of Judah, Savior and ruler of all. The Lion of Judah, Savior.
I know this doesn't sound like the voice you were just hearing. Me and my partner, we are playing tag in the house, and right now I'm it. So if you're just tuning in, this is Hidden Treasures with Ayanna and Morris. Morris kicked the show off. I am going to close the show out, and yes, you'll see us together again. We're not fighting. You're gonna see us together again. But welcome. If you feel like giving us a call, 914-969-6499. If not, you know that you can always send us emails at hiddentreasuresam@gmail.com. So before these two beautiful, phenomenal ladies next to me introduce themselves, I just want to comment on a few things. I am so excited because I got my tickets to Nativity. So I am going this year. What show am I going to? 2 of the shows were already sold out, so I think I'm going to the 8 o'clock show. Very exciting. So I know they announced it earlier, but get your ticket, go while you still can go. So I'm excited about that. That's number one. Number two, did you love that low battery video? Okay, I saw it. It really made me pause. And so I've been trying to take a couple of moments to pause and not use my phone or not be so drawn to it in every day and moment, because it does affect our social etiquette. So if you can just make a pledge to yourself for like 15 minutes a day, cut the phone off if necessary. We're not doctors and we're not attorneys. We're not on call. Stop it. You can give the phone a break for about 15 minutes. Do so. And I just wanted to comment to the song. One, I love that song, but I really want us to recognize that Jesus is not just a man, but he is God. And we need to recognize the sovereignty of our Lord, that he could be everywhere at all times, that he alone could do the greatest work that he did for us. So in this season where this world really recognizes the humanity of our God, recognize the divinity of our God, that he is Lord, there's nobody else like him, and he's worthy to be celebrated throughout the entire season. So if you want to give the greatest gift, give Christ your life, and that'll be the greatest gift. Now, I've commented and caught myself up on the rest of the show. So now there's 3 of us here, and we're about to get into a good conversation, because we are talking about commitment to entrepreneurship, and we have some phenomenal women who are just that, and it's going to be a conversation. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves first, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how this topic came about. I'm a little hyped up. I'm going to slow down just a little bit. So I'm going to start first with the beautiful woman to my left. Please introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about yourself and also your entrepreneurial endeavors.
Okay. My name is Vanity Butler. My company's name is actually Forever Vanity, and it's an all-natural sugar scrub company that I just launched actually at Circle of Sisters on October 5th this year. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited to be here and to discuss the commitment to entrepreneurship with you guys.
Awesome. And to my right, your left.
Hi, y'all. My name is Rawkelle Bellamy, and I am a co-founder of Vanity and I's Between Girlfriends, which is an online social networking site. And I'm also an accountant, and I have a tax practice as well.
So, okay, so we have powerhouses in the house. I must say that my sister gave me, her sister, gave me a sample of the Forever Vanity. And, okay, so she slipped it to me during church service, right? But anyway, I was so excited. I opened it up. I was like, ooh. And then she was like, you're supposed to use it with water. I was like, my bad. So, I politely closed it up, But I do use it. I have it right by my sink. And I love all the sugar scrubs and things like that. I love how it exfoliates, just in general. And it really moisturizes really well. I had the lavender one. Smells awesome. So, you guys know I'm not about being fake. So if I didn't know anything about her stuff, I'll be very quiet right now and let her tell you. But let me tell you how this came about, because 2 things. I had a conversation with a gentleman who is an entrepreneur, and he has his own graphic design business. And I was like, I'm so excited for you to be doing what you love. And he said, really, you think it's good for you to be only in your entrepreneurial endeavor? And I had 2 thoughts on that. I said, listen, I definitely understand the struggles that come with it. But when you pour yourself into that complete entrepreneurial endeavor, it forces you to be totally sold out and committed to it. The other side of it, I have always been one that I love the work that God allows me to do. I love my job, but I use my job to fuel my entrepreneurial endeavors. Mm-hmm. So people do things a variety of ways, and I'm always surrounded by wonderful entrepreneurs. So that was one thing. And then I had another conversation with somebody else. So I don't know if you're going to think this is controversial. I don't know. Email me. You know how we do. But I tend to think that with the civil rights movement and the push for integration, there's something that we lost. And I do believe with integration, and you guys can disagree with me or agree, but I do believe with integration, yes, it should be made mandatory that we can have the right to enter into any field that we desire. But I think in the midst of that and in pursuit of that, getting access to the jobs that are out there, we lost touch about creating our own businesses. And we are one of the, I say we, those who are of African American descent, and I'm talking about that specifically here, are the largest consumers. We impact this world. I don't think we realize how much we can impact the business world, the finances of this world, but yet we don't pour into our own community or have enough sustainable businesses. And so that wasn't always the case. There are a number of historical sightings. Black Wall Street was during a time period where while depression and everything was going on, and other people of other pigmentations and races were losing their money, Black Wall Street was prospering. It did get burned down by those who have lost their money. But it shows how they were able to prosper in the midst of things that were going on around them. We see other communities that pour into their own communities. So my thing is, sometimes with integration, with pursuing the American dream, whatever that is, or your degree and all of that, sometimes we lose touch with what is my passion, my goal, my dreams. And you guys know here in Hidden Treasures, we talk about that a lot. But how can I be so committed to it that I'm going to make this happen? So out of those ideas came this idea, commitment to entrepreneurship. I want to hear first about Between Girlfriends. Now, I went to the site just last week. Again, I've been to the site a number of times before. And so if you don't get a chance to go to it, I don't know if we have a flyer for it or not, but you guys can also share Between Girlfriends with the Z.com, right? And I love the look. I love the presentation of it. And there's different chat rooms and groups, right, that people can join and get involved with. So if you can stop for a moment and just on the next tab as you're watching this on YouTube or even as you're watching us live, that you can just go check that out and just to see it really quickly. That's something that you initially launched and you were co-founders of. Where did the idea come from? What was the excitement behind it? What caused you to go ahead and do it? Anybody?
Well, Between Girlfriends originated just out of just a simple brainstorming. It was, Vanity is not just my business partner, but she's also my best friend. So, but getting caught up as women, we for some reason come across so many obstacles, different situations just on a normal daily basis. And sometimes you can't, your best friend is just out of the loop, nowhere to be found, but you need someone to sympathize with you, empathize with you, to hear you, to listen to you. So that's how Between Girlfriends was birthed. It was just a site so that women could go on and have other women hear their stories and comment on their stories when your best friend is not available. She's working, she's in the bathroom, she's unavailable to listen. So Between Girlfriends was birthed based on that idea. And as I said earlier, we come across different things. So women play different roles. Everyone plays different roles, but women play more roles between each other. So some women play banks to their friends. Some women play lawyer to their friends. Some women play carpenters to their friends. You know, so you have women that play different roles, and so this was supposed to be or is a community for women to embrace each other's talents and be a lending ear or help or support group for their fellow girlfriends.
Right, absolutely. I think I remember when we sat down and were discussing it, it was just pretty much creating a place where we felt comfortable. You know, a lot of sites you go on, you don't feel comfortable asking the questions, and sometimes you don't feel comfortable asking your best friend the questions that you really have on your mind. And this is a place where you can go on, and you can be anonymous, and you can ask what's on your mind or what's happening in your life, and not be judged. And I think that was more importantly creating an environment where you can get whatever is going on in your life. You can get advice for what's happening.
You know what? I like that. And if you guys are talking, continue to talk closer to the mic because I want to make sure they
Sorry.
all hear everything. But I like that because how many times do we see people on Facebook or any of the other sites, you know, tweeting out or posting, what are your thoughts about this, people, or whatever, you know, whatever it is,
Right.
and people can only give a quick response. But sometimes people are posting that because they want more of an in-depth conversation, but that's not always the forum
Right.
to have it. And you know, I'm going to plug this because obviously that's the forum for it, right? Where you can sit and have a conversation and people will follow up with more in-depth comments than just the post. Again, check out BetweenGirlfriends.com. But now let me ask you something. So you're excited. You guys saw the purpose for it. You went ahead and launched it. And then what? This is an entrepreneurial endeavor.
Right,
You're like,
absolutely.
okay, we're going to be the next Zuckerbergs or
Yeah,
that much more.
definitely.
And what's now?
So on our quest, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
On our quest to try and build this great community, and as Ayanna said, be the next Mark Zuckerberg, we came across, something. I don't know what to call it. Let's say some type of, I don't know.
I think it was more of the wrong timing for us in our lives and where we were. We were still growing. We were still in school, still trying to figure out where our career paths were going. And then there's Between Girlfriends. And while we were trying to build this as best as we could, we felt like it wasn't the right time to fully take it where we wanted to take it. And we're still committed to Between Girlfriends. It's right. Still our baby, what we call it,
Yes.
And Between Girlfriends is still alive, and we're looking forward to one day fully getting it out there to the point where everybody knows about it.
So
Right.
Between Girlfriends, which is your joint venture, is definitely alive and well.
Yeah.
But there is a certain vision that you guys have in terms of where you want it to be, where you want it to go, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So in terms of you're saying for now it is where it is, but eventually you are returning to it to take it to the next level. Yes.
Exactly. We come to this, I don't want to say standstill, but to this roadblock, I guess, in our lives, and just, I guess, more or less to reach our own goals, just so that we can ultimately be at the place where we can together get Between Girlfriends where it needs to be. So that's what I think it is.
Now that's interesting because we talk about commitment to entrepreneurship, and I love the fact that the dream is not dead and that the community is well and it is alive. So I want to stress that. But you guys talked about being in different phases in your life and being in school, and we threw out Mark Zuckerberg's name, right?
Yeah.
Because he launched it in school, right?
Right.
Yes.
He
So my thing
definitely
is,
did.
where do we, and this is not just about Between Girlfriends, it's about
Right.
any venture. Where do we say, okay, this I am committed to it, and I want to see it go to the next level, and I'm going to do by any means necessary to make sure that happens. Where does that come about in the midst of all this? And that's just in general.
Okay. I think it comes to when you. I think everybody knows if you want to be an entrepreneur. I know myself. Since I was in high school, I could just remember coming up with ideas all day, every day. Now, it took me until 2014, this year, to actually fully commit to Forever Vanity. Even though we started Between Girlfriends, we weren't fully committed at that time. And I say fully committed. I think it takes trying to figure out where I'm trying to go. I think it takes a lot to commit to the things you love. Honestly, because you're so focused on, your parents are telling you gotta get this career going.
Yeah.
You gotta get out there, and you gotta buy that house, and you gotta buy this car. And to be honest, if you're an entrepreneur, you're sometimes eating ramen noodles.
Right.
You're eating cans, and there's no filet mignon and anything
Right.
going on in the beginning stages. So you're so focused on trying to get that career going, so you can have that funding to actually create something.
Exactly, and I think she just hit the nail right on the head. I think just Between Girlfriends is such a phenomenal idea, a phenomenal its own entity, but it's also trying to move up in your own career so that you can always fund your business. So when your focus is on being the director of whatever, being the moving up in corporate, then you get so sideswiped with your business where you're trying to get enough capital to put into your business, but then your business gets put aside, and then you're thinking, okay, so what other business can I do to help me get
Right.
to put my other business on?
Yeah,
So then
exactly.
you're juggling so much, and then it just. I think that we can get caught up, and I think another thing is fear. I think sometimes we fear that that this idea is not Mark Zuckerberg, so who's going to think that Between Girlfriends will reach the level that Facebook is reaching? So I think that sometimes you can be a little doubtful of your own accomplishments or what you're able to accomplish in comparing with other social media sites, other businesses in general that you're competing with, or if you want to say competing.
Right.
Go ahead.
I also think that when she brought up fear, and I think it's fear of failure. A lot of times that's the roadblock. I know we all want to be Oprah, we want to be Mark Zuckerberg, but it's that fear that if we step out there, that we may not get to that level, and we may actually fail. But I recently, I know a lot of quotes that, especially from Oprah, where it's like, you can't be afraid. You just have to put yourself out there, because failure is a part of life, and it is going to happen. If you don't fail, then you're not really doing it correctly.
It's so funny because as you're saying that, I'm saying, well, what's wrong if you do fail? Like, if you launch it and it fails, it doesn't become what you want. Like, how is anybody hurt?
Yeah, but that's
Right.
the thing. But then when you
Besides
launch
your pride.
Right.
that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think that when you yeah, your pride. But no, I think that just everyone's opinion. I think it becomes just like,
So I
oh
love
my God, I failed, and then everybody's looking like she failed. So then your next venture is like, I don't know how that. I don't know how that's gonna turn out.
I'm gonna watch it first.
But in fact, you don't know how much support you'll get if your first adventure that you're gunning for, that you're really pushing, and it drops. I think that's heartbreaking. So I don't know. It's a collective, a pool of different emotions.
But I love what you're saying, because, and I don't know if you guys heard it. We always say that our listeners are our third or our fourth guest in this case, or host, and they can always enter into the conversation. Again, if you disagree, agree, please email us or go onto Facebook to give us your comment. Maybe we'll get a page on a post or a group on Between Girlfriends. I don't know. Maybe that'll happen sometime soon. But kind of launching that now. But listen, did you know and did you hear her earlier? We said how sometimes there are other people saying you need to get that career, you need to get that education, you need to get that car. And now on the flip side, we just said, well, then you hear those voices that say you failed, what happened, blah, blah. So you have the ones that are hindering you from launching, and the ones that have the comments. But at what point? Because before every venture, you ask any person who's an entrepreneur, they would have, like you said, so many ideas coming one after the other. Right. They would say, yeah, I launched that idea, and that lasted for about 3 to 5 years. And another one said, look, I had a successful business for 13 years, and after that, I was finished with that, and I went on to something else. So you often notice that an entrepreneur usually doesn't just have one idea. Sometimes, if that's what they're given, we talked a couple shows ago about talent. So actually, it was last week, I believe, when we were talking about talents, and one having one having two, one having five, and how it was multiplied. Now, you know, what's interesting is you can have all those things, you know what I mean? And if one fails, another idea may come by. And how determined are we to commit to it? Because those that are successful eventually commit to something in such a strong way. And that spirit still has to be alive. And I speak to that as a person who, as I said, has always used my 9-to-5 jobs that I love to fuel my entrepreneurial endeavors, whether or not it was my books or my CDs or my plays, whatever that is, right? So I'm definitely there with you in terms of that. But you know, how committed are we? Because you've started something else, and you've got a tax practice. So entrepreneurial spirit didn't die. So what is our determination? What is it that we're saying, look, okay, this is kind of on hold? Or what if that dream or that idea does fail? Does that spirit of entrepreneurialism die as well? Or what, we just shift? Or
that's what I think. I think you just shift. I think once the spirit is in you, it's always there. Like you said earlier, you'll have a bunch of ideas, and then there's going to be one that you're going to really stick with and you're going to run with, and you're not going to care about anything. And I think that's what it is. You have to have the spirit of being an entrepreneur in order to be successful at what you do. And regardless, and then you're going to reach to the point where you don't care. You don't care about what people think. You don't care about any other failures. You're just, that's it.
How do you know? How do you know when you're an entrepreneur and you're not? Like, how do you know? It's just like, look, I'm gonna just try this, and then you're like, oh, I'm really just distracted. I'm getting into anything. Or it's like, no, I am really an entrepreneur. It's in every fiber of my being. How do we know that?
I think it's because you're passionate, you're resilient. You know, you never give up. You know, whether we may fail or we may not, take that step out there, but we're always coming up with that idea. We're always thinking of that next step. And I think that's what makes you an entrepreneur, that you're passionate, you're creative, and you want to put yourself out there.
And it's in your character. I think that you have the character of an entrepreneur. They're more willing to take the lead. They're more willing to be bold. You can tell when someone has that spirit, has that character inside of them. They're not the one that's laid back. They're not the one that's really introverted. They're the one that's really out there, that go-getter. And I think once you see those characteristics in the person, it's easy to identify that person has it, whether they embrace it, whether they do something with it, but you have it,
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, you were talking about that passion, and there was an idea that God gave me for a nonprofit that I launched many years ago that's still up and running today. And as you ladies mentioned too, it's not to the magnitude, in terms of service it is, but in terms of where I want it to be financially, is not to that magnitude yet. Right. But I remember at times that working in this, and it's been over 17 years now, that it's been so heavy, like, oh gosh, I don't want to get up to do it, I don't want to get up to go. But it's been that nagging thing in me that I could never let go. Now, part of it is, you know, it's a ministry as well as community service, and so I feel a spiritual connection, but there was something that I could never quite let go. So it's always sort of shifting or reorganizing that idea. And I think when you talk about that, is that spirit is part of your character. It's just something you can't freely dispel, that you get into it. So with that being said, tell me about Forever Vanity. I want to know about your tax practice. How are you still, you're committed to entrepreneurism because you're still doing it. So how have you sort of channeled that in another direction?
So Forever Vanity pretty much was more of it's an all-natural sugar scrub company. The idea came to me, I would leave the house. I would put on lotion. I would leave the house. I'd get into the car, and I felt like I needed more lotion. I get to work. I'm putting on lotion all throughout the day. I'm washing my hands. My hands was just dry. I know knees, elbows, everything was just dry, and I felt like I needed to. So I started researching to there had to be a better way to find out what I could use, and I kind of landed on sugar scrubs, and I felt like, okay, this was it for me. In the past, I Forever Vanity was always in my head, like since like 2007. And I wanted to, you know, then it was a whole line. It was lotions and body butters and soaps, and I was in the house doing all kinds of crazy things trying to develop this line. And it took about 7 years later for me to say it's sugar scrubs, and that's it. That's all I'm going to be creating. And it's when we launched actually at Circle of Sisters on October 5th, the feedback kind of just let me know that I was correct on going this path in this direction with my company, that it was such positive feedback. It was actually a product that I use, my friends and family use, so I'm passionate about it. I enjoy making it. I enjoy being out, and you know, we call it the Forever Vanity experience. You know, we're creating that, and so that's kind of how that came about.
So let me ask you some questions about Forever Vanity.
Okay.
Then, so all types of scrubs. So that means it's scrubs for your hands, your feet, your face, your scalp, everything.
It is body scrub. So we are going to be, right now we just have full body, so you can use on your body. We have like 2 that you can use on your face, and I am going to be actually have a hair scrub, and we're going to have lip scrubs as well. So it's going to be scrubs for everything.
Okay, so scrubs for everything. We're going to
scrubs for everything,
and we're going to be shiny. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Forever Vanity.
Yes.
Do we have a flyer for that? Do we have a flyer for Forever Vanity? I think we did.
Yes.
We're going to let it pop up a little bit later. Again, I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. But what's your website? What else? I mean, we love to be clean and fresh and smooth.
You know, actually, sugar scrubs are actually, it exfoliates. It's very gentle on your skin. It can be used on children. That's how you know it's very gentle on your skin. It moisturizes, it softens, and especially during now, I promote it, especially in the wintertime, because we're going in and out the cold, and then we're in the heat, and then we're in the cold, and then when you heat, you'll find your skin starting to crack a lot more. So you definitely want to use a sugar scrub to moisturize and soften and keep that skin looking healthy and glowing throughout.
So what's your website for that?
It's forevervanity.com. And you can definitely find all our products are there, and you can reach out and let us know what you think.
Okay, so there's a talking point. Did you hear how she said the idea came, and I'm going to hop to Miss Bellamy over here, but the idea came in 2007, but it took 7 years later for it to be clarified what it was, right? So I love that, because an entrepreneur says, okay, I feel this thing in me, I enjoy doing this, what is it? And there are sometimes when we have ideas that the original vision may be either too small or too lofty.
Right.
And over the course of time, you realize, oh, I need to be doing more, or I need to narrow it down, and this is my niche, and this is my niche market.
Right, absolutely.
And that's okay, and time allows that to happen. And so I love that you heard us say that. Forevervanity.com.
Yes.
Check it out. I'm gonna have to get some more. But okay, so then we have another entrepreneur here, and she has taken what is her job experience, because you said you're an accountant, and now you've launched your tax practice. Right. So, and I want to tell you guys, I'm not going to say the names. There's 2 of them, right? One is a name of a tax practice, right? They set up in a lot of different stores, like during tax season, and when they close down, it's like a clothing store again. And they start with a J, maybe. And then there's another one that's 2 initials. That's all I'm going to say, right? With the and sign in between them, right? And what I'm saying is a lot of times you don't always have people that are really well versed in accounting law, the practices and things of that sort. So talk about, why you said, okay, let me, I can do this. I'm going to do it, and how it fits with your lifestyle.
So I'm an accountant by profession. Everything, my job, everything about my job is surrounded by finance, numbers, accounting, everything. So as Vanity was stating earlier, taxes is something that I've been wanting to do for, oh my God, I want to say the last 5 years. But I think that there's a poem called Our Greatest Fear, and it says that our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And I think that I have to recite that to myself from time to time, because there are times where you just feel so like, nobody's going to pay attention to me. I'm 20 something. No one's going to let me do their taxes. So after much, soul seeking, and then I have this great mentor who's a CPA who I love to death, and who I've looked up to for the longest of long time. And when I was a child, I worked with him during tax season, and I said, in an effort to build capital towards between girlfriends, and just making a name for myself and using what I know to as an asset for me to just expand. I'm an accountant. I can do taxes. I'm a professional, and then using that as a gateway to catapult my tax practice.
So some of you, I like to do my taxes early because I like to get my money, and maybe you want to do the same. So it's never too early to start. So with that being said, if they're saying, look, listen, this woman is all about her business, how do they get in contact with you for taxes? So I'm saying, if you want a real person that knows what they're doing versus the other two that I sort of mentioned, this is the person to talk to. How do they get in touch with you?
I have a Gmail account. My Gmail is newyorktaxlady29@gmail.com. I can also be reached at 914-719-7079. You can leave me a voicemail and I'll definitely get back to you, or you can shoot me an email. Like I said, I'm a professional. This is what I do. I'm an accountant by profession. And it's something that I'm extremely passionate about.
Most entrepreneurial endeavors that fail within their first 2 years, a lot of times is because they are not aware of the appropriate accounting practices.
Right.
So sometimes people are having a food business and didn't know I need to be having taxes and what I was supposed to do to provide those taxes. And now I'm getting overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Some people start nonprofit endeavors and didn't know, oh my gosh, I didn't handle these funds correctly, or what was I supposed to do? How do I have my account? I say that because here you have all entrepreneurial endeavor individuals that are saying, look, I'm an accountant, let me give you the information that you need to help you be successful. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need that accounting experience, maybe it's not just about taxes, but you need someone to guide you in accounting. This is a woman I just told you, New York Tax Lady 29@gmail.com, and that's all spelled correctly, I believe, right?
Yes,
I feel like she's not going to do any other type of abbreviation.
Yes.
She's about business. But there's two things that you actually tapped into it. In terms of what I was going to ask, what does it take to be committed to entrepreneurism? And two things you mentioned. One was initial exposure, and I want you guys to give me other things.
Okay.
Where you were exposed to working with someone during the tax practice, you were trying to make money for what was already in you, another idea, but that sparked something within you. And secondly, mentorship. And I think a lot of times when we are in businesses, we are afraid to, what God has for you, it is for you. And someone may have a similar idea, but they can't do your idea like you. So sometimes we foolishly keep ideas quiet, but we never seek information or seek mentorship. And there are individuals that are out there willing to mentor you and guide you in the direction that you need to go. And you talked about that mentorship, where someone can help guide you. When someone knows what they're doing and they're not afraid to do it and do it well, they're not threatened about building somebody else up. And you talk, what else does it take? Okay, maybe early exposure, maybe mentorship, passion. What else does it take to be committed to an entrepreneurial idea?
I think also enjoying what you do. I think a lot of times if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to do it.
Mhm.
You're not going to want to wake up. You're not going to want to put in the 24 hours that you have to put into your business. You have to love what you do. Also, you know what? You have to be. We keep going back to it, but you have to be passionate.
Yes.
You have to be passionate. If you're not passionate, you're not going to fully commit to your business.
And confident. Extremely.
That's
You have to be extremely confident in knowing that your product is good, your services are good, and know that there is competition, there are competitors, but yours is unique, and yours is, you have to have that confidence about whatever you have, your service or your product, and I think that's a tool to being an entrepreneur as well.
And this world is huge.
I was gonna say that.
How
Yes,
many
it's
people
huge.
are out there. So it could be 5
Exactly.
businesses, but there's so many people that you can
Yes.
reach.
Right.
Exactly.
Online, in person, face to face.
Yes.
It's huge, and I love that our greatest fear is that we are
It's not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure.
that
Yes.
part. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
Right.
And if we tap into that, and I want to say that because sometimes we focus on the first part, our inadequacies, but sometimes we get a taste of this power within us,
Yes.
and we don't know what to do with it. We're like,
Exactly.
whoa, like I just spoke to all these people and got their attention.
Right,
Wow,
right.
I just did this deal. And I don't know how to handle it. Let me just
Yes.
run from it. And I think that is
Right.
huge. That's huge. And this is Hidden Treasures with Ayanna and Morris, the eclectic Christian perspective, and we are all about Jesus Christ. And just you need to know, if you want to know about entrepreneurism or how to be an entrepreneur, how to be entrepreneurial, there are so many ways. You look into the Word of God and it talks about businesses and how to be wise in business. You go to Proverbs, you go through so many other areas, how to be, and the Bible talks about being a good steward in business, be men, which means be wise, be honest, be ethical in what you do. The Bible talks about that. But Sunday, and we're about to wrap up really soon, so I want to leave this with you. Sunday, one of the things that was mentioned as part of it was walk by faith, and for some reason that took a hold of me. As simple as it is, it took a hold of me in a way so much greater than I ever expected, which is everything that we do is by faith. And sometimes faith is what we allow to waver, but our faith is what we use to guard ourselves and our heart from the fiery darts. The fiery darts are those comments of those other people that said, maybe not now, do something else, the distractions. But when we put our shield of faith down, we leave ourselves vulnerable for all those attacks to kill our dreams. But when we keep that faith up, we're able to shield off against that. But we walk by it, which means we're led by it, we're guided by faith, we move by it, we have our existence by faith. And we do some things. I sat in this chair and I did not think that it was not going to hold me up. I walked out on the street and I did not think that the street was going to cave in. I got in my car, did not think that it was not going to start. So we all have a measure of faith, but the word tells us that we walk by faith. So I'm saying, when you have that entrepreneur idea, know, like you said, be confident. It is good. It is needed. It is great. There are enough people to get it, and to support it and to sponsor it. If you love it, stick with it. If you're passionate, stick with it. If you have an idea and you can do it, do it. There's so many great things. Seek a mentor. Get early exposure.
Yes.
Be willing to write down the ideas and continue on. So I want to encourage everyone. It's 9:54. You know how it is. It gets close to the end, and I'm saying so much. And I'm gonna have my entrepreneurs give some final comments of commitment to entrepreneurship. But I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to support both of these entrepreneurs right here. It was forevervanity.com, NewYorkTaxLady29@gmail.com. You can reach out to both of them between girlfriends.com. And I really want you guys just to bombard that site. Now, they said they're not ready for where they're going to go next. But the more ideas you send in, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, we got to go there. You want to know why? Because you have so much to talk about. We know it. The people won't call in, but they'll send us so many emails. I'm like, for real? Really? Like you had that much to say? But that's the forum to do it. So I'm going to tell you, stop, posting these long posts that people can't really talk about as much as they want to. Go to betweengirlfriends.com.
Yes.
Guys, maybe there'll be a branch off for you somewhere else. IronToIron.com is another one that you can check out. But ladies, leave us a final comment. How can we remain committed to entrepreneurism? And we'll continue to promote these ladies in the months and time to come. So please leave us with a final comment.
Okay, I'll leave you with this quote. Success takes communication, collaboration, and sometimes failure. That was by Jessica Alba. A lot of people said that the honest company that she started, it wasn't going to be successful, and now it's actually one of the top companies. Commit to yourself. Commit that you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, and just go with that. Commitment is everything.
Commit to yourself.
There's nothing great about dimming your light so that others can shine. So I think once we realize that we have this light inside of us, show it for everyone. You have so much potential as an entrepreneur to be your own boss, to be your own everything. And I think that once you know that you are willing to start your own business, just go for it, and then everything else will fall into path. So in keeping with Ayanna's for Jesus Christ, keep God first and everything will fall into place, and that's all I have to say.
So we're at www.inthemixradio.com. Definitely check out this site. There's many shows that you can check out. This has been Hidden Treasures with Ayanna and Morris, the Eclectic Christian Perspective. We got a hot show next week. We'll see you next time. Good night.